Why, hello again. It is time for places. This time we're doing spaces. In my blueprint here, I have it written down as spaces. Wear a mask. Courtesy and quicker shifting norms in modern meeting places. I'm bad at wearing a mask, to be honest. I waffle horrendously between thinking that it's important for us to share biology as a means of immunization and improving our immune system's capacity to self-care, and really not wanting to share biology with people who don't believe in the process of immunization or modern science in the first place. And that just speaks to the wider impasse we are at with melting ice caps, new viruses, resiliency against antibiotics, and fear of modern medicine, which is often expressed in things like anti-vaxxing. So, as much as I advocate for mask wearing, I also struggle with the idea of dogmatically wearing masks. I think it's important to recognize the living reality of how our spit travels. There were a lot of wonderful infographics shown during COVID that shows spacing, ratios, distance traveled, and the ways in which different illnesses transmit. Mucus-based illnesses being particularly troublesome to us as creatures. We are mostly water, and that is in our mucus. So when that gets compromised, we struggle. It's through our mucus that our immune system often operates the most. And it's through our mucus that is both our first and last line of defense. So eat your boogers. And wear a mask when it's appropriate to do so. Doing things at the appropriate times with precision is always going to be the most useful. I feel that's something I've been learning very intimately as of late as I reconsider my priorities and what I consider to be appropriate. Courtesy and quicker shifting norms in modern meeting places. This goes back to my argument that we are, as a species, moving towards more socially dynamic interpersonal relating as a means of creating a more complex social fabric to meet the challenges of our modern world. That includes quickly adapting new courtesy practices as they emerge, and being able to do so with a certain level of flexibility and swiftness. This is very obviously evident in the ways that people adapted to or rejected using masks or socially distancing. But there are other examples as well. Pronoun usage, of course. Dead naming or not, of course. Respecting the desire to be anonymous or not, of course. These aspects are becoming integral to our understanding of what is courtesy in an international way, thanks to our ability to communicate rapidly and immediately in real time with one another at individual levels and also as a group. This is a phenomenal step forward for our species that's been undertaken in just the last 20 years, and I'm really proud of us. Shall we pull a tarot card? I have been working with the Hermetic deck lately. I began with the Gypsy Witch deck because it's modeled after playing cards, and you can use it like playing cards. I usually practice a loose form of tarot reading in the form of solitaire. Wherein any time I'm stuck, I take it as an opportunity for contemplation of the most recently pulled card. The level of randomization involved soothes me, and the familiarity of solitaire reassures me. But lately, I've been trying to grow and explore the tarot through more traditional practices. To do that, I've been working with the Hermetic deck, one of the most classic and iconic of decks. I like to keep things simple, so for now we're just pulling random cards and reading the insert in the booklet. This helps me get familiar with the deck. The familiarity matters. Every deck describes their cards a little differently, so reading the insert that comes with the deck is an important aspect of understanding its positionality in the world. Additionally, when you are familiar with the meaning according to that deck's insert of each card, or when you become familiar with that meaning, and then you pull it in practice, whether gameplay practice or more formal spreads, you'll make mental associations more quickly upon recognizing the cards, and in doing so have more rapid and deeper understanding. Of the reflective implications. This is a space we're making now. And spaces I think we all know, are not purely physical things. Some spaces aren't physical at all. But most spaces are. Even headspace has physical origin in our biology. At a chemical level, headspace is more or less salt and potassium and water. That's why we like bananas so much, according to me. I think we're also just quite proud of the way that we have cultivated the banana over time. And it's one reason it's so devastating that the United Food Company, or Chiliquas, are a delicious treat. I can't remember what they called themselves, but you know. You know. And I'm getting off topic. Fucking banana appropriators. Take every accomplishment of our people, our human people, and turn it against us and our health. But alas, yes, headspaces, they are composed mostly of potassium, water, and salt. Digital spaces are composed, well, minerals, mostly. Rubies. Lots of rubies involved, actually. Copper. Lots of copper for a country that was promised we would run on fiber. Lithium ion, too. Expensive materials to create a digital space. I think we're still in awe of it. A mirror that talks back, so sophisticated to our mind, such that it is easy for us to confuse it with a mind that is separate from us. That's beautiful and scary. Usually, scary things are beautiful, and beautiful things are scary. But let's pull a card here. This deck is very beautiful. I got it in San Diego, and I'm so glad I did. Speaking of, was my copy of The Magician's Companion returned? I don't believe so. I'll have to text her. I'm gonna need it for the languages. Ooh, we got the Hanged Man, but upside down. Spirit of the Mighty Waters. In this depiction, there's a tree branch where a man hangs by one ankle The other leg crossed over, bent at the knee, and on the other ankle a snake lounges, poised to bite. A 6-pointed David star tattooed on his ass, and 2 different crosses to either side of the legs. One is the one with the circle, you know, the loop at the top of the cross, and the other is a classic cross, although it has pentagrams at each corner and zodiac signs as well. There's a delta triangle to one side, water cascading, and a larger triangle covers the man's head. From the top of the man's head comes many rays, arcing out across the bottom of the triangle. And a grid pattern covers the area behind upper arms and butt, with a trident to the other side opposite the second delta. I don't know the Hebrew sign at the top. The Esoteric Workings of the Secret Order of the Golden Dawn by Godfrey Dawson, U.S. Game Systems, Inc. I've read the introduction before, and you can read it for yourself if you're interested. I won't read it for you. This is Neptune. We have to remember it was reversed. Spirit of the mighty waters, memory, water. The inverted Ankh is in harmony with the inverted man. The Ankh and the rose cross symbolize the supreme formula of adaptness and the sacrifice that has to be undertaken to complete any great work. The inverted figure forms a cross upon an equilateral triangle, representing the descent of light into darkness. The serpent on the right foot suggests both creator and destroyer. The symbol for water appears at the left center and the symbol for Neptune at the right center. Meanings: enforced sacrifice, punishment and loss, suffering, suspension. Reversed, which is how we pulled it, lack of sacrifice, failure to give of oneself, and false prophecy. Well, that's pretty clear to me. I'm not being giving enough. That's what the deck is telling me. I disagree, to be honest. But I feel wounded enough by the pull that I might think about it more deeply. Whoa. Perhaps I'm just being giving in the wrong ways. However, my cards always speak very literal to me because I am a literal person. I think that the inversion of this card simply means that the meaning of the card has happened and the point of the thing has passed. My cards like to speak to me with timing precision beyond what I think is appropriate. Which is probably why I don't touch them enough. Now that feels real true. Spaces, places and spaces. I think one aspect that we are all experiencing with, what's the word? The advent of digital environments and their impact on our psychological well-being has been this resurgent need. Oops, I meant to open that with Krita. This resurgent need to find balance between the physical and digital realms. This shows up in our media and our culture all the time. It's the central theme of Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Oh, that's not good. One thing I've argued over and over is that our digital environment provides us an opportunity to test social norms in a way that is a bit safer, a bit easier to construct and deconstruct. Excuse me. There we go. At least if the digital environment is flexible enough to allow for it, which many of our most popular spaces are not that flexible. I guess it's a big responsibility, and you know what Spider-Man has to say about that. Oh no, that's about power. I guess it's a big power too, to be able to just gonna zoom in. I feel like that might help. To be able to adjust that rapidly is dangerous, but very cool. And once we harness that energy, we will be unstoppable. However, anyway, I'm getting a little distracted. Yeah, this balancing act between spaces is something we're still adjusting to. Oh yeah, I cannot draw and talk to you at the same time. It's just impossible, even if it's just a little color touch-up. Wow, I thought I could. I really did. I really thought I could. Oh, what a necessary touch-up, though. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, file. Export. Whew, that was gonna drive me batty. Honestly, I like it better the first way. Even if it's technically wrong. Isn't that funny how that works? Yeah, courtesy and quicker shifting norms in modern meeting places. Digital space has opened up our ability to adapt to social norms and courtesy rapidly. We're learning it, we're adapting to it. We're doing it so well. With each other, with other animals. This balancing act, though, I think it's forcing us to become better at articulating the different ways in which things like digital or physical environments serve us. The death of the mall, for example, and brick and mortar shops. We were all quietly terrified of that death. We didn't want to stop going to physical places and looking at physical items and purchasing them, or participating in physical spaces in community as culture. There was a resurgence in religiosity around that same time because Going to church is a very simple way of sharing community without needing to spend money. Mall walkers, mall rats don't necessarily spend money, but they're there every day. And their presence helps to deter those who would otherwise abuse the space. Showing up in physical spaces and just being present helps improve our communities. But the shift into a digital culture, at least half of the time, has forced us to better articulate to ourselves and with one another why being present physically holds meaning to us. The use of Amazon as a distributing service for goods and services, but mostly goods. So highly ubiquitous. DoorDash too. The memes that come out of this phenomenon of instant gratification, instantaneously being available in physical space to a static entity who otherwise spends all of their time dynamically engaging in digital space, are often horrific looking. I saw one recently where an armless, starved individual with a meta visor placed over their eyes was fed through IV with datura and meth, I think, and fentanyl. And something calling itself a auto-fat machine covered their genitals. An extreme and brutally honest image, hand-drawn by some unknown person, came across my dash, and it was too real. That's not only the fear, but the reality for many. The Matrix is just as real as we all worried it might become. To realize the ominous dystopian rumblings of our media are so much more immediately accurate than we ever realized, and we ever could have imagined, is jarring. It has sent people into the deep wilderness to live alone. It has broken so many minds. We live in constant states of avoidance and aversion of these types of truths. We engage with them where and how we can, when we can bear it. And we push back against them when and how we can, as we can manage it. We invest in interpersonal relationships, in friendship and love, in activities that nourish us and feed our wellness. We learn skills and coping habits to help us build resiliency and improve our ability to adapt and overcome. This is what it means to be human. And one thing I think we have all quietly, joyfully begun doing is giving more meaning to our capacity to share and hold space with one another. We acknowledge it in our courtesy. Thank you for holding space with this. Do you have the space for this? We go further and we use shapes. I'm creating container for. We are creating container for. These are powerful new tools for us. And when we use them interpersonally, we become more powerful. We reify their existence and turn them into true things, true aspects of interpersonal relating that become norms. Taking the time to create the space, to hold the space, is a powerful move. And in doing so, we become better at curating tailored environments. For the work of both our mental and our physical labor, and our emotional labor. This is physically demonstrated in our digital environments or in our physical environments through interpersonal relating. But the practice can begin within our own minds as well, within ourselves at a deeper level. And that meditative practice will feed the living physical practices as well. And thus we are growing not only in scientific literacy, but in emotional intelligence literacy. Emotional intelligence is the word that we have for it. And there is a difference between emotion and mood. A fleeting feeling, or an atmosphere. The weather and weather patterns of the soul. And groups of people have moods. We often talk about the political climate or social climate. Another reason becoming a good environmentalist is a deeply integral aspect to becoming a better social creature. Better here meaning more humanitarian and altruistically oriented or spiritually actualized. Better is better. Progress is progress. These are our places. These are our spaces. Our environment. What occurs within that environment. Unlike most jaded millennials, I love the mall. Though I do identify as a jaded millennial. I like brick and mortar shops. I don't like rampant well, you know what I don't like. With the capacity for individuals, small businesses, shopkeepers to curate a space and invite others in to share that space. It's beautiful. Do I wish we could go back to a combination of barter trade and time banking as the main form of currency? Yeah. Would it take us redistributing people and resources to really accomplish that? Also, yes. Is it very possible? Also, yes. Doesn't it suck you have to spend money to connect? Doesn't it suck you have to work far more for far less than you're worth just to connect? I've spent a lot of time in a lot of different places, physically and digitally, and mentally and emotionally. I like to travel. I like to discover things. I'm curious creature. And there's nowhere I've been where people are not trying to connect, hoping for positive interrelating. These things get lost in the misery, the suffering, the grief of all of the failed attempts. That's one reason Craigslist Misconnections was so cheering of a place. We have become so much less lonely than we were before the internet became widely available to such a large group of people. And it can't be put back in the box. Pandora opened it for us. We just finished the job. And there's still more work to do. What we have right now in digital environments is horrifically bloated. What we need are more educated, more technically literate people. The world really does run on technicalities. All of our clocks are set by an atom. Well, it's supposed to be. The sundial was too imprecise for our purposes. We have so much built-in purpose in everything we do. But we can't make meaning out of it without paying attention to it. And we can't pay attention to it if we fear it too much to look at it. So spaces. As may be obvious, I enjoy creating space. I try to do it in a way that nourishes me so that I can then create more space. The image of a water wheel in a river. Ideally, my energy being the river is returned to itself through the process of creation. My loved ones always worry that I put too much energy into my processes and that it isn't returned to me. And for good reason. But the return is coming. And I don't think that I've put anything out there that won't be coming back to me in my energy or in my time. I think not everyone can say that, and I think that I am very lucky to be able to say that. I do think my inverted hangman means that there's still more to give, that we're not done here. And considering ways my karma usually returns to me, mostly I'm excited for it, as opposed to afraid. But largely that's because I can feel the minds that I've touched with what I've given. And I can tell that I've done well in what I gave. So venture forth, my friends, into your spaces. heart, head, digital, physical. Venture without fear. Venture with curiosity. Wear a mask when it makes sense to do so. Help strip yourself of prejudice to see clearly with the mind's eye, both yourself and others, and your environment where you find yourself. Be present, even in suffering. Even when it seems unbearable. This is the advice I hope to take, and know it will come back to me for giving it. And if you are a meme maker, please continue. You're doing great. I love to see the improvement in the meme economy. It's, as I've mentioned before, it's very heartening to see. We all need your insightful witticisms, now more than ever. And the layers of depth with which a meme can express truly goes far beyond anything we've ever built as far as communication tools. We are in a completely new age of communication. We share and exchange information at rates more rapid than ever before, and a depth far deeper than we could have ever imagined 30 years ago. Well, I think some people might have been imagining it. But this level of unprecedented information sharing, of course, can lead to burnout, information overload. You are adapting in real time, physically. Your biology is changing to meet this new capacity load. And your sociality, your mental acumen, your labor is changing with it. So be kind to yourself and to others as we move through this change together, and recognize where we stand truly in space and time with one another, so that we can more precisely and appropriately use these new tools without doing harm to ourselves or others. Maybe if we are good at this, we'll see some really cool shifts in the next 30 years. I truly just don't believe that we can commit collectively to the suicidal course for our species. I also think our natural environment is going to try to murder us if we continue to abuse it to this extent. Order must be restored, and the balance is always sought. Humans are creatures of chaos, and good for us, good for us. But it means we have a responsibility to the world around us beyond what our instinctual responses might suggest. Our capacity to choose creates a need to choose wisely. And that need to choose wisely creates a desire for meaning. We make our own meaning through the seeking of purpose, and we become increasingly sophisticated in articulating what that entails. Our ability to do this with one another in concert is one of our greatest strengths, and we deserve to exercise it with the full awareness of what we are capable of doing and achieving when we work together. We don't need to continue to live and compromise with wasted potential. Fulfilling our full potential is the only thing I know about what our destiny is. Because form follows function, and function follows form. And if we have the capacity, it implies we have the ability to use it appropriately and truly reach our full potential as a collective and individually. These things are not impossible. But the spaces we occupy mentally, emotionally, and physically require our presence and our attentiveness to our environments. And we cannot be good cultivators of environment without attentional awareness or presence in the moment. That practice, before all else, is absolutely necessary to see the type of world I think we all truly want to see. This is not a new argument, and I don't mind spending my time making it. Saying the same thing in a new way opens doors and minds. And there have been so many people who have said this. There's so many people who are saying it right now. I just want to sing along. So join me and my choir of hearts if you're not too afraid. And let's see what we can do together. When we really apply ourselves and what we know of connection, courtesy, and adaptability.